Now turn up.
What up, is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dads. This is a Jerry Jeudy free signed jersey. We're going to be giving it to one of you subscribers. We're going to be hitting 1,000 here. I'm already pre-made Thursday's video, so I'm just going to give it away on Friday. I'm assuming that we'll have 2 more subscribers here by Friday, so if you haven't yet, please subscribe. We're going to be giving that away on Friday. And so another little kind of tidbit here before we get into Travis Etienne Dynasty. If you want to be a part of a Dynasty League, I think we're going to be doing a Super Flex League, and we're going to be doing it very soon here. So I'm not going to do an exact cutoff, but we have like maybe 2 spots left of that league. So all you have to do is be a Patreon, not minus the dollar tier. The dollar tier might, if we have it on number, then we'll pick somebody from that dollar tier. But I want to do that here as soon as possible. So let's get that done here now, and then we can start figuring out details, get into that draft process before it gets, we're getting down to crunch time here. So Travis Etienne, Dynasty value. And this is, I've had a couple hours to figure this out and think about what his Dynasty value is. And we're going to be going through Sony Michel, that trade to the Rams as well. We look at Cam Akers, he, of course, Achilles injury, an injury that is pretty bad for when it comes to running backs. Liz Frank injury is not good at either. And sometimes you'll have a reoccurrence happen. We've had injuries with, I think Sammy Watkins has been one of those Liz Frank injuries. You see him once or twice a year. It's a Liz Frank injury, it's a foot injury, and basically it's nasty. So I've done, not research per se, I went to 8 years of schooling of health, and basically it's like the middle part of your foot just separates. Google what Liz Frank injury is, and it looks horribly painful. It looks like plantar fasciitis, but like 10 times worse. So anyways, Travis Etienne, he was my number 3 in 1 QB. And in Superflex, he was probably, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. Where is he going to be? Well, let's just start with 1 QB because it's a little bit easier to think, okay, well, who are you going to have potentially ahead of Travis Etienne now? And you look at Jamar Chase, and you look at Devontae Smith, Kyle Pitts. There's arguments for those guys all to be ahead of Travis Etienne. And then we get into players that it's like, okay, Rashad Bateman, Jalen Waddle, and then we start to get Michael Carter, Trey Sermon. Where do we have him there? And really, it's one of the hardest judgments. Do we take a year off of Travis Etienne, where James Robinson will once again be there when he gets back? And there's no necessarily key that, Travis Etienne is going to be amazing when he gets back. We hope that, but where do we have to? If you are a rebuilding team, I'm okay with you taking him here in this kind of like middle of the first round, because you're not going to need him. He's basically, think of him as a 2022 draft pick. Think of him as that. That is what you are getting instead. You're not getting a 2021 player because he's, of course, gone for the year. So that's why, again, I'm having rebuild teams take Cam Akers as well. But if you're a contending team, you just can't take him. This year it's just not going to be, he's not coming back. So you need the Trey Sermons and Michael Carters, both of them having issues with Michael Carter in camp. Trey Sermon hurt his ankle. So we're having issues already. I am probably still going to hold out, and it's so hard. This is the hardest thing, is he's gone for a year. But you also could, Trey Sermon and Michael Carter could easily be just as hurt and have another injury, and now you have a worse running back gone for a year as well. It's just, this is what injuries happen. I'm going to say Travis Etienne, middle of the first, probably. I'm okay with him in a tier of Trey Sermon, Michael Carter, and Travis Etienne, kind of this middle to late first. In Superflex, that is early second you're talking about. And again, know that you are potentially getting a running back that would take at least a year to get back. So that's what I'm saying right now. I could look up and do more research about running backs that have maybe lost their first year. There's running backs that have, and there's been some, I've seen some people send some different names, and it's like, okay. But we just have to understand that the Dynasty is just, that's why I love Dynasty, because Travis Etienne could come back and he could be like the best running back in this draft class next year. He also could come back and not be the same player, or he could just be not as explosive, which is his big kind of attribute. what right now they're saying is that it's a level 3 grade sprain through there, which is even worse than some of these level 1s, level 2s, of course. The higher level, the worse it is. And so we are kind of into this kind of mixed situation. So I would say mid first if you're rebuilding, late first, and then just shift back a couple spots if you're in Superflex, because you're going to have those 3 to 4 quarterbacks that are going to be ahead of him easily in Superflex. So that's where I'm going to say right now. It may change. I mean, because we're always kind of looking at Cam Akers' value right now, too, because you know he's going to be gone for an entire year. And if you told me right off the bat, would I rather have Cam Akers or Travis Etienne? I would say Travis Etienne has a better chance of coming back from that injury than Cam Akers. So I would say Travis Etienne over Cam Akers. But, I mean, Cam Akers was, his value was extraordinary through the roof. He was top 10 running back in Dynasty value. And now he's just been, you can't even see his ADP. It keeps falling so fast. I just saw him get traded for a second round pick in one league and a second round pick in the other league. I'm like, geez. I mean, at least I would take that. I would take Cam over Akers over a second round pick. Like, second round picks are very likely to bust. At least Cam Akers has a chance to come back. And maybe he is something and maybe he's not. All right. Sony Michel. We got to talk about Sony Michel here. I think Darrell Henderson now has a thumb injury. I'm not a believer in Jake Funk. Xavier Jones, these are running backs that are just not going to be productive, even if they're on the field. You might have a game, let's just say everyone's hurt and you have Xavier Jones. What's your best chance? Because you can get like 15 carries for 60 yards, 70 yards. Like, that's going to happen maybe a game, maybe 2 games. Like, that's just not worth it. I would rather have somebody completely else. Like, give me a second round, any other second round pick. And I've seen him go for second round picks, and it's just, he's gone for second round picks and Cam Akers has gone for second round picks. It's like, come on, people. Like, I feel like this is where we start getting people that are just inexperienced that are getting taken advantage of. They say, oh, Xavier Jones, he's the backup running back, could be starting because look at Darrell Henderson hurt. And there always will be teams that will pick up, hey, the Rams, you know what you could see the Rams doing? You could see the Rams going back on Le'Veon Bell. They could get Le'Veon Bell. And all of a sudden now that's just a mess there. You could also see the Rams get, hey, maybe Todd Gurley doesn't hate the Rams and he comes back to be a Ram. Maybe David Johnson gets cut and maybe David Johnson is this plumper there. It happens. The situations change. Sony Michel is an okay running back. I think he'll be fine. He's a body that hopefully will. He's not Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson's extremely more talented at this point in his career than Sony Michel, because Sony Michel's just broken down with some of his knee stuff. So I would say at this point, Sony Michel is worth a second rounder to Darrell Henderson owners at this point, just as that kind of depth piece, or he's worth like a third. Like, I mean, he's worth a third round pick, Sony Michel, because he's likely going to be a backup, but with a potentially injury prone, you could say maybe injury prone, Darrell Henderson, then he's, again, just a flyer, a guy that could try to rekindle a little bit of his, what was that, 2018 already? Man, I don't even know what year that was. That was a while ago. So it's funny. The years ago, I was still not a Sony Michel believer, and I saw him go for some ridiculous prices, like Michael Thomas before Michael Thomas was Michael Thomas. If I said that right, before Chris Godwin was Chris Godwin, it was like Chris Godwin and something for Sony Michel. I remember all these crazy trades for Sony Michel, and now Sony Michel is worth a third round pick. So that is how Dynasty works. And so, and again, like, look at Travis Etienne, was worth number 3 in my eyes, and now he's maybe worth 8, 9. I mean, if somebody said, "Hey, I'm taking Michael Carter," I don't know why you say Michael Carter. Michael Carter. If I say Michael Carter. By the way, if I Google Michael Carter, I always get the basketball player, which is annoying. I have to be like, Michael Carter, Jets. So Michael Carter, I'm okay with somebody saying, yeah, I'm going to take Michael Carter over him. I'm like, all right, that sounds good. Or even say Trey Sermons, like, I want him over Travis Etienne. I understand that you want potential. Somebody like you, if you're drafting Travis Etienne, that value is going to probably depreciate because he's not on the field. You're going to see James Robinson do well again, and you're just going to see that his value is just going to depreciate until we start getting up closer to when he's recovering from injury. Like, that's what happens with injuries. You are already having an injury problem with that player. And so, same with Saquon. Saquon was not to the point of like Cam Akers or even Travis Etienne, but he was a guy that was worth like 3 first, like plus one of them being early, and then he got hurt, and I saw him go for like 2 first. Like, you lost a third of his value just based off of that ACL injury. And it's because you're losing a full year as a running back, and that could be 15, 20, 25% of your entire career, or even longer. It could be 50% of your career if you're a 2-3 year window. I think people talk about 3-year windows. Well, now does that 3-year window shift? Because he's got to go straight into his prime ages of 23 to 26. And if he's not ready at 23, then you're getting another year of potentially wastedness with him and James Robinson. And now you have to wait till 24. And now you have 2 years with him. Versus why you have Javonte Williams, who's just running through the league at that point probably, and Najee Harris, who, yeah, will be 25, but he'll be in the prime of his in 2 years. And so, or you could even have Trey Sermon and Michael Carter, though one of those two ends up hitting. So, again, 2 things. Again, 1, subscribe before Friday. Number 2, if you want to be in part of the league, I would be a Patreon as soon as possible, because if we end up getting too many, like, we're just gonna cut it off, and like it's gonna be that like either 10th or 12th person, and we're just gonna cut it off. Depends on how fast we get to that. If we get to that today or tomorrow, then the league will be just cut off, and everyone else can just listen to me talk about the league all the dang time. Sorry, people. So if you want your name on this video in this channel or whatever like that, also you have your name in the intro and the extra, which is kind of cool. I don't know, maybe it's not cool. If you don't want to see your name, that's fine. Have any not a princess name. Have a Achilles? No. Alias. Have an alias. All right. This is Marcus Dynasty Fun. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow.